A few years ago, I tried every product I could find to fix my acne and eczema. Cleansers, skincare, serums, spot treatments, nothing worked. That's when I realized it wasn't just about having a lot of products, but rather the right ones in the right order. And believe it or not, that same logic applies to running a fashion business. Hi, my name is Satya, and today I'm going to break down how a simple skincare routine can actually teach us everything that we need to know about successfully setting up and running a fashion business. Throughout this comparison, I'll be drawing both from my experiences with both skincare and the Knowledge Matters virtual fashion business simulation to prove how the fundamentals in both fields lead to success. Now, before we begin, I just wanted to share a little bit about myself. Once again, my name is Satya Devakarini, and I'm currently a sophomore who has been on the Shrewsbury High School DECA team for around 2 years. Outside of DECA, I like to involve myself in activities like speech and debate, singing, and as of recently, the booming world of skincare products and routines. Now, you may be wondering, what does a skincare routine even have to do with managing a fashion business? Well, as someone who has struggled with, once again, things like acne and eczema since the beginning of time, I've learned that following fundamental steps of skincare is the difference between having breakouts and clear skin. And just like your skin, a business can either thrive or struggle depending on whether or not you follow the right process. Today, we're going to be looking at these specific steps, as they are the steps that my actual dermatologist has recommended to me in my personal routine. We will be comparing them to different steps of running a fashion business through what I've learned and grown with from the virtual fashion business simulation. But it's also important to note that a lot of the procedures that I will be talking about can also be applied to various different business types as well. Now, initially going into the Knowledge Matters Fashion VBS, I had no idea where to begin, just like how I was when I first started skincare. Therefore, my first attempt at the VBS was definitely not a pretty one. I skipped researching market trends by looking at the social media posts, causing my business to be unsuccessful. I had no idea who my target market was or what new clothes were trending. With trial and error, however, I realized that the first step I should have taken is quite reminiscent to the first step in my skincare routine, which is cleansing. Or in business terms, conducting market research and developing a strong foundation. Just like how cleansing your skin cleans and preps it, allowing for your actual routine to be effective, researching the current fashion trends and coming up with a business concept is essential before starting your business. From the Knowledge Matters VBS, I learned that research before jumping in and creating a full-fledged business is important because without it, a clean base is just going to break out. Now, the next step is slightly similar in terms of cleansing, in terms of starting with the first step before actually doing your actual skincare routine. In the VBS, I learned that pricing isn't just about setting a number, it's about strategy. When I first started, I priced my clothing too high, thinking that it would make me the most money without considering demand. And like before, it was quite unsuccessful. But when I analyzed how pricing actually worked and positioned my brand uniquely, offering what's called a competitive price, I actually was able to make a lot more money in comparison to before. Therefore, pricing strategy is similar to exfoliation of the skin. Exfoliation is all about removing dead skin cells to let healthy, glowing skin shine through. Just like how overexfoliation can damage your skin barrier, and overpricing without strategy drives customers away. On the other hand, however, failing to actually differentiate your brand is like not exfoliating at all to begin with. Your business stays dull and lost in a sea of competitors. And to succeed, you need that perfect pricing balance. Now, the next step is toner, which preps your skin and balances pH, allowing for your serums and moisturizers to actually work better. Similarly, in business, the way that you set up a store and manage your inventory determines how well your fashion business functions. In the VBS, I initially ignored the store layout and I didn't really understand how you could position different clothing in the actual fashion business. However, I quickly realized that that actually caused my business to be quite unsuccessful and that a poor store design leads you to follow on the low foot traffic. Just like how using the wrong toner can throw off your entire skincare routine. Once I optimized the store setup by picking the right location and keeping the layout appealing, sales actually increased. Just as toner creates the ideal base for the rest of your skincare routine, store setup and inventory management create the foundation for successful shopping experiences, and I have the VBS to actually thank for that. Now that all these skincare and business prep is done, many people just assume that you can just launch a business and stay successful. However, in order to actually obtain success, we need to recognize that there are still certain steps that are needed. When looking at the VBS's interface, it's very evident that social media actually plays a large portion in fashion businesses. I actually didn't even realize that you could make your own posts at first, but once I did, I realized that my sales were increasing. Therefore, using platforms like social media actually can advertise your fashion business and allow it to gain a lot more traction than before. This is called brand awareness, which is very similar to my personal favorite skincare routine, which is a serum. Now, serums are the powerhouse of skincare. They deliver targeted ingredients that solve specific concerns, just like how serums can actually affect the overall outward appearance that your skin may have, whether that's through the reduction of dark spots or providing extra hydration. Marketing is actually what makes a difference in whether or not your brand stays relevant, making it one of the most important skincare steps. And now imagine if you did all that work for nothing. That is what it feels like when moisturizer is not used in my routine, as it leaves my skin dry, irritated, and vulnerable. Just like how neglecting customer experience leads to dissatisfied, disengaged customers in the long term. Because even if you have great products, poor service or a weak brand image can actually drive customers away. In the VBS, I learned that when customers keep coming back, it's actually based on how they felt whilst being there. Therefore, the moisturizer step is essentially just to continue to stay on top of recent fashion trends, to continue to adjust layout, and to constantly adapt to meet customer needs. I mean, we already put in a lot of the great work beforehand when it came to things like market research, setting up a price, and advertising. Yet, in order for our business to continue to gain success, the VBS has taught me that you need to be open and ready for change, because otherwise, our skin will be flaky, just like dry, unmoisturized skin. And now, last, but definitely not least, even if we do all of these other things, there is still one key part that needs to be shed some light on: financial management. On the VBS, by budgeting wisely, forecasting risks, and managing a safety net, my fashion business became more stable. Just as skipping sunscreen leads to things like premature aging, just as skipping sunscreen can lead to all these major concerns. Neglecting financial management actually puts a business at the risk of failure. The smartest entrepreneurs, like the most dedicated skincare users, are actually those that know that prevention is always better than damage control. Therefore, at the end of the day, both skincare and business require the same key elements: strategy, consistency, and adaptation. If you skip these steps or apply them in the wrong order, you won't get the results that you want. But when done correctly, these steps can create long-term success. So if you wouldn't skip sunscreen, why would you skip financial planning? If you wouldn't neglect moisturizer, why wouldn't you invest in customer experience? Just as each skincare product plays a role in maintaining a healthy skin, each business decision plays a role in building a thriving brand. And thanks to the Knowledge Matters virtual fashion business simulation, I've learned that success in business, much like success in skincare, is a process, not an overnight transformation. Thank you so much. And now, before I leave or anything, I just wanted to ask if there were any questions regarding my experience with Knowledge Matters or the topics that I have covered today.